Hi, everybody, and welcome. Appreciate you guys joining SafetyHQ, boosting your toolbox talks. We are excited to show you a little bit about SafetyHQ, specifically the toolbox talks. We're going to be kind of getting into that feature a little bit today. A little bit on the way of best practices along the way for those of you that are not using SafetyHQ or not particularly looking to switch at this point either. So we'll be getting into that. I'll give you a little taste of what else we have to offer here at SafetyHQ as well. But if you guys have any questions, certainly ask them during the presentation. Don't be shy. I'll do my best to get to as many of them at the end as I can. And then if you guys have any questions, I'll put up some contact information after this call as well to make things simple and easy for you also. So I guess without further ado, let's jump right in and learn a little bit more about SafetyHQ's Toolbox Talks and just talk Toolbox Talks in general. So I guess first things first, for those of you guys that are not familiar with SafetyHQ, I just want to give you a little bit of background on what the solution is, how it works, some things along those lines. In particular, SafetyHQ is what we call progressive web apps, so we can download and install this onto any mobile device. The view that you're seeing here today is the tablet view that we provide. This can be used offline mode, online mode. If you use foundation software or payroll for construction, we have some great integration features. If you don't, we definitely have some options for you as well. So don't be shy. I'd say we got a good chunk using other solutions out there from the accounting and payroll as well. But for SafetyHQ, we have some really strong tools ranging from, job site forms. If you want to do things like JHAs, site inspections, things along those lines. We can do equipment inspections. All of these inspections as a whole can provide us things like corrective actions. So we can follow up and manage tasks related to deficiencies that we acknowledge or spot on the site. We have the ability to house an SDS database. We have some tools as far as lessons and certifications. This is a good place to track the lessons or like a light LMS for folks if you need to, share trainings, administer that to folks that might not necessarily be in the office or might be out, at different locations. We can share trainings with quizzes. And then we can go ahead and manage those certifications anywhere, right? So if you need to pull up something like an OSHA 10 card or see who's expiring in the near future or, set up automatic notifications for folks that will be expiring on certain certifications, SafetyHQ can certainly help and manage all of that for you as well. This goes all the way to incident reports. Incident reports can track and manage. We can route these to folks that need it, need to be notified when these occur. We have some really good reporting on some items like this as well too. So if you want to see some data related to, trends that you're seeing in your incident reporting, things along those lines, all the way to our OSHA 300A reporting as well. So a lot that we can do. There's equipment management and tracking for, when things will be expiring, keeping track of all of those items as well. And then finally, even some document storage to make sure that your team has access to all of their documents, safety or not, regardless of where they're at. And that's kind of the benefit of having SafetyHQ is all of these safety items are in one place, easy to track and manage. And then the team has a simple and easy to use tool to, track, manage, and include all those items as we go too. So the focus today, though, however, is Toolbox Talks. So I'll spend most of our time here. If you're interested in hearing anything else, like we didn't get into any detail on any of these additional sections, including like our fully customizable forms here that we will customize on your behalf, what have you. If you want some more information on any of that, I'll put up some contact info at the end or reach out. I am at EDV Echo Delta Victor at foundationsoft.com. So my name is Eric Fitardi, but I'll give you that at the end. But without further ado, let's jump into Toolbox Talks a little bit. So Toolbox Talks here in SafetyHQ, we have about 200 or so, all English and Spanish. And then they're all focused on construction, right? That's kind of our goal. We work with all the different trades. We have some specifics based on the OSHA heavy hitters, the slips, trips, and falls, things along those lines that we want to make sure that we're definitely staying on top of because of the rate at which OSHA is issuing citations for those types of items. But I'll take a quick pause here. For those of you that do not perform, say, tailgate talks, toolbox talks, any kind of weekly stand-up or safety discussion, this is critical. This is one of the first things you'll see, as far as OSHA guidelines. More and more folks are being asked to provide these on job sites. If you're a general contractor and you have subs working for you, it's still your responsibility to get these done. Many general contractors are requiring now that subcontractors are completing these on a regular basis and are, asked to show proof of these being participated in and completed on a regular basis as well too. So if you're not doing these toolbox talks, it's a great quick way to keep your team up to date on, maybe it's a particular task or hazard for the job that they're working on. Maybe it's a nice reminder of a best practice for, in this case, you can see something like wire rope cable clips, right? It's a good way to keep them up to speed, reminded of safety practices, reminded of best practices. I see a lot of folks, add in things like near misses, right? So if you have a near miss on one of your sites, you can use that as a learning tool to pass along to all of your sites, right? This is an easy way, at least in SafetyHQ, you can create that new toolbox talk yourself, share that along with other folks, and you can use that learning or that potential disaster, that potential incident, that near miss, and then turn that into a learning moment or a learning tool for all of your crews, because it's a little bit more relevant. It hits a little bit closer to home. Teams really respond to those as you go as well too. So regardless if you're using a tool or not, I would recommend doing these regularly. This will help you bid on more jobs, win more jobs. This will help you keep your team, most importantly, safe by reminding them that this is a priority for them. Most folks are doing these on a weekly basis. I see folks doing these a little bit more frequently as well too. So not uncommon to see these done on a daily basis as well. But if you're doing them, not doing them, I certainly recommend starting with maybe, once a week on a regular day. This is the first thing we're going to do before we start our work on a Monday, or maybe to break it up on Wednesday. It's the first thing we're going to do before we get onto the job site. So getting in some kind of habit, getting in some kind of routine with your team is key. And then having a way for them to not only have the topics to address, but information is going to be the second piece. So in that, SafetyHQ obviously has a whole bunch of these topics for you to review and select. As I mentioned, it's easy for you to add and include toolbox talks of your own as well. So if you like those, or if you want to put in ones that you receive from your workers' comp insurance, maybe from your trade organization. If you're not doing these at all and you're looking for content, obviously you have things like Google and what have you. But a really good place to start asking is, call your workers' comp, call up, your trade organization if you're part of one. If you're unionized, see if you have some tools at your disposal from there as well too. So there's a lot of really strong tools and content available out there that could supplement you, especially if you're using SafetyHQ. But without further ado, I'll select one of these as an option. So first objective is, if you're providing toolbox talks, is making sure that you have the content to provide to your team, right? And here we have some images, we have some, a pretty standard format of explaining dangers, identifying controls, reviewing these. This should be hands-on with your team, right? I see a lot of people might have a foreman lead these with a group. That seems to be the best. I also see some folks doing these individually as well too. That's a good way to do it, especially for those that are doing maybe like service jobs and have your crew spread out all over the place. But especially for those that are kind of crew-based, might have a foreman, crew leader, whatever it is, this is a really good time to engage that whole group collectively. So have your foreman, your crew leader, either select a topic like we just did here with wire rope cable clips. In our system, you can share these out. So you don't have to worry about necessarily handing out paper, emailing something out to a group. We can customize these roles and pass these along to whoever might need to review these or who's sharing these with the team. So in this case, I'll just say I want this to go to all my foremen. You can send it right away, or you can schedule it in advance here in SafetyHQ. So really nice for SafetyHQ users. You do have the ability to schedule these out as far as you'd like. a lot of folks will take some time and say, hey, you know what, I want to go ahead and schedule my next month in advance to make sure my team gets notified and has all the tools that they need at their disposal. So you can go ahead and schedule some things along there. In this case, we want everyone to discuss wire rope cable clips, on, I don't know, December 5th at 8 o'clock. We're just picking a date. Maybe we do this every Tuesday as a group. Perfect. I can set it and forget it. If you're not using a safety software, again, maybe it's a printed copy that you have everyone pick up at the office, take to the site, get them signed, return it back to the office. And then you'll have to organize them and collect them one way in-house so that you can, you can reference those as needed. Again, if you're using SafetyHQ, it's simple and easy for folks to schedule ones out. You can schedule them immediately, or you can allow your team to pick their own topics if you'd like. Specifically for SafetyHQ, if the team gets a notification, they're going to get one of two options, right? They'll get an email, or they'll get a notification in their inbox letting them know that they've been assigned a Toolbox talk. They simply make the selection. I should have mentioned too, all these are available in English and Spanish, so we can go ahead and translate those on the spot as needed, or this will show up in the desired language of the user as well if they have, their preferred language to be Spanish or English or what have you. But in this case, I've selected my Toolbox talk from my inbox. I'm going to hit this big yellow can't miss it button. This is a good time to point out ease of use, right? SafetyHQ really focuses on ease of use. If you're not doing much in the safety space or Toolbox talk space as it is right now, and you're looking to get some things moving, obviously you need to prioritize it as a company and show the team that you care. So following up on that's going to be very important. We'll talk about that here in a second. But first and foremost, this has to be simple, right? If you're asking them to go through a bunch of hoops, take a drive out of their way to drop something off, things along those lines, the follow-up's not going to get done. The task isn't going to get done as a whole too. So for us, ease of use means big yellow can't miss it button built for construction fingers here, as I like to say. Great. I select my button, select the project that we're working on. We'll go ahead and pick this AMD bridge project. Great. We can focus this in a little bit more. We'll see when we review this information at the end, company and division. These will be tools that we can use to review this information and organize it after it's been submitted. But they hit the big yellow button. They've selected the project. They hit next. Obviously discuss the Toolbox talk with the team. And then for SafetyHQ, we can sign right on that device. So whether that's a phone, whether that's a tablet, whatever that might be, we can sign directly on that device. Whether you got 3 employees or 3,000, really easy for us to navigate based on this smart search right here. So if I pick DE, it's only going to show me employees with DE in their name. So we'll pick another B here. We'll have Bob sign off on that. Great. And then we hit submit. Again, we don't want to overcomplicate this process. If you're doing this on paper, maybe collect signatures on the back there. We have the ability to take photos in all of our aspects of SafetyHQ too. So maybe you want to take a photo of your team providing a Toolbox talk. That's a good option as well. But as I mentioned, we want to make this simple and easy to use. That's all there is to it. I review my inbox. I click whatever it is in my email. I hit the big yellow button, select my project. We don't have to select project if that's not how you guys organize your work. Maybe you do really quick jobs and you're in and out of a location. Great. We don't have to require that. We have some other options there as well. But once that item is completed, again, the team doesn't have to worry about this anymore. This is kind of one of the simplicity factors that we like to pride ourselves on. If you're doing this in another format, you're going to have to make sure that the team is going to, work this way back to you. You're going to want to organize this because having the access to these completed Toolbox talks is almost as important as doing these, right? So this is the one we just completed. Here we go. We got safe setup of heavy equipment. Great. As I mentioned, we could have taken photos. I didn't snap one at the time, but we can select photos, review what's been taken on the site, see our signatures, get all the information that we might need here as a whole to review. Now, this isn't the most sexy Toolbox talk version or view that you'll see out there. That's why we have some other options. You'll see I hit this PDF button. We can get a nice professional copy. This would be complete with your company's name and logo, your company colors, the information related to the Toolbox talk, and then obviously the discussion topics as well too. So we have a nice professional PDF that you can share, customized to your company's branding and what have you as well. So you have that as an option to share it with whoever might need to review it. Additionally, over here, these are automatically stored and saved in our cloud, right? So instantly, we can review these Toolbox talks by project, by foreman that submitted them, maybe by date range, maybe by topic, right? If we want to do the Toolbox topic, crew, company, division, whatever we might need to use over here, to differentiate that information a little bit further. Or you can do any a combination of those, right? So if I want to say, hey, I want to look at all the Toolbox talks that we provided for the month of October. We are in November already, which is wild. But here's all my October dates, for this particular project. I can do that pretty easily and pull up all the information I might need. So really easy to organize those. It'll filter that group as you need, and then you can select PDF and share these Toolbox talks with whoever might want to, access or see the evidence of those as you go. But you might be saying, Eric, this is really good. I appreciate that, but this is a little bit more of a confusing way to review information as far as who's completed what. I don't want to look this up every time. At least in SafetyHQ, we definitely have some tools. So this is where you're going to see even more, divergence, I guess, or change versus, an on-paper solution or email solution. This is going to simplify your tracking, organization, and management of Toolbox talks as a whole, right? So if I go in here, I can set up a rule. In this case, I'm an administrator, so I'm going to use admin once per week. But maybe this is foreman completing this once per week, whoever, whatever. You select the date range that you want to review. In here, I can review all of my employees, see how they're doing. My team not doing very well. I'm doing fantastic. I've done 3, great. I was only supposed to do 1 this week. I'm just really, hitting it out of the park. For those folks that are not doing as well as me, really simple and easy. From right here, I can select this and notify all of our employees who have not met the requirement for the week. That'll send them a notification both within the application here in this app, in this inbox section, I should say, or in their email inbox as well. Both of them, you can click it. It'll take it right to the Toolbox talk that they've been assigned for that week. They get it completed. They're adjusted on here. You don't have to worry about it. If you just want to pick some individuals too, you can do that. You don't have to necessarily select one or all. From here, you also have some options to review how your team's doing from a big picture perspective. A lot of folks that are just getting a safety program off the ground choose to incentivize their folks to make sure that, again, they see that you guys are prioritizing safety throughout the organization. So if you do that, this is a good place to see how people have been doing over a longer period of time, right? So I can see how many people, how many weeks that I've missed. I've been automatic. I haven't missed one since April here. But you can see in any particular week how many entries somebody's done, what have you. All of this also works for our forms modules as well, if you're doing JHAs, inspections, things along those lines. So we really simplify this process. This all works the exact same. But for Toolbox Talks, really makes it easy to navigate and review how the team's doing. And then if somebody were to be involved in an incident or an accident, we also have some tools here as well too. So if I want to go in here and say, hey, let's look at Eric, he was involved in an accident. I'm going to move over my webinar panel here. Not only do I have some information related to the employee, like emergency contact, SDS info, certifications, which you can share through a QR code or what have you there. You got a lot of options on the employee profile. But down here, I can see all of the Toolbox talks that this employee's attended. That's tied together through that drop-down selection that we made earlier. So this makes it really easy. If somebody's involved in an incident, involved in an accident, and you need to review previous Toolbox talks that they were in attendance of, you have all of that organized and managed right away, right? So this is really easy to access. You can show this to whoever might need to review this. And then not only, are you providing that information to who needs to see it on a quick and timely basis, but it's also showing that, you're timely, you're on top of this kind of stuff, makes you a little bit more trustworthy with the groups that you're working with on a regular basis as well. So that's something to definitely consider. Again, if you're doing some options via paper, maybe, I don't know, you're doing an email-based Toolbox talk, I don't know that I have a ton of suggestions for you here as far as improving process and procedures. All I would say is just make sure you're consistent, right? The second you start, you stop paying attention, stop following up on the required toolbox talks or showing that it's a priority for the company, is when you're going to start to slip as a whole too, right? So there's a lot of benefits to doing it, not only in building out your business and having different opportunities, but again, the biggest piece out of all of this, which is safety. It's extraordinarily hard to find talent out there. I know a lot of you guys, I'm kind of preaching to the choir. But when you have to have, an employee missing time because of an injury, maybe they're changing job responsibility because of an accident, what have you, that's all time that you're losing them out in the field. It's already hard enough to find those people to do that. And not to mention, you show the employees that you care, right? You prioritize their health, wellness, and safety. You want to get them back to their families every day when they're done working. So that's a good piece to show that, hey, we're doing this and we're putting an emphasis on this for you guys and prioritizing your guys' safety throughout the crew as well. So I think when you frame some things like that, we've seen some really big changes for our clients rather than, hey, we just need to do this for this particular job. Then, they see it as a task. They see it as something that they need to just comply with for that particular job site, but not something that, you necessarily care about, on other jobs. So providing that consistency across different jobs and making it a staple throughout your business is a really strong way to show your employees that you care, that it does matter, and then really prioritize, what they're doing out in the field so that they can actually, take some time, think a little bit more before they participate in XYZ dangerous activity. So that's the short version. Again, Toolbox Talks are just one of the many features that we offer here. I can get into more detail on any items if you'd like at a further date. Happy to schedule a personalized demo with any of you guys out there that are interested. Like I said, we certainly have some options. All of our forms are customizable. It's a great way to review and manage information. Again, this is similar to some folks that if you're not doing Toolbox Talks, maybe I need to just do JHAs on certain sites. Again, we simplify and manage that process for the team, right? So like in this case, we're only showing the team based on the tasks that they're doing. We're only showing them related hazards, right? I select some particular hazards as we go. It's only showing them controls to the hazards that we're dealing with on that site today. Again, all this is customizable. Our team's here to help and guide you throughout the process. Whether it's Toolbox Talks, whether it's our JHAs, inspections, daily reports, anything along those lines. We do really, prioritize that simple, easy to use option for the teams wherever they're at. So let me take a quick peek over at the questions, but I got about 5 minutes here with you, 5 more minutes here with you, I should say. So if you have any questions on the Toolbox Talks, I would be happy to share, happy to get into more detail with you. In the meantime, let me go over here. You know what? I'll just put it right here. In the meantime, I'll leave this up for a little bit. I'm going to write this in the search bar rather than pull up a whole new screen here. Feel free to reach out to me. I got a nice pretty one with my face on it. We can pull that up, but for those of you that are interested in booking something, just shoot me an email here, edv@foundationsoft.com. At foundationsoft.com. Happy to schedule a live demo with you, talk through this. If you're not ready to move on to something like a SafetyHQ or a safety program as a whole, but maybe got some questions, kind of in the infancy of your safety program, I'm still happy to help you out. So don't be a stranger. Give us a buzz. We can see what we can do to help streamline you, give you some suggestions on ways that maybe we can improve the processes for you as you go. I did get a question in here while we're waiting. This question's asking, how can I do Toolbox Talks when we are in a remote, I'm going to assume this says remote location. So we can still provide and access all this. We can access this in offline mode. The team will need to get the notification or need to get that scheduled Toolbox Talk prior to whatever it might be. So for folks that do a lot of remote work, I recommend just setting that date a little bit earlier. So whenever they're leaving the hotel or whether they're driving in on the way to the job site, they can still pick it up, that assigned Toolbox Talk to them on the internet one while they're in internet or self-service. but they can complete this, regardless of their cell service standings, and then that will submit automatically when they do return to cell service or internet as well. So that's a good question. Okay, I got one more. We got time if there's other ones that come in, but I do have another question here. I'm a general contractor. Let me see here. I'm kind of reading between the lines here. Do I need to, how can I manage, I think I'm going to assume here. So Terry, if my question's wrong, correct me on here. But I think what Terry's asking here is, as a general contractor, how do I collect signatures and names for folks that are not my employees? I'll see. I'll keep an eye on the question marks to see if I'm understanding that correctly. But if you are a general contractor and you're providing this to Toolbox Talks to folks that are not necessarily your employees, that's fine. We can certainly add those into the workers column if you work with those folks regularly. We can delineate them by subcontractor if you'd like. You can go ahead and just put in a drop-down name. We can type in names and put signatures for folks that maybe they show up one time or are not coming to the site very frequently. We have a number of different entries and options to put those employees in here for you so that you can track and manage who is on the site and where. That's also something we can certainly do with like daily reports and things like that when we want to capture information for employees or folks that are not employees that are on job sites as we go as well. And I think I got time for maybe one more question here, so I'll get to this one. There's a few here. There's about 2 or 3 that I won't be able to get to. I apologize. But the last question I have here is, can I upload my own Toolbox Talk? So yep, we did. I know kind of folks are coming in and out of this during the lunch hour. You can absolutely upload your own Toolbox Talks. We have our own. We have about 200 in here to share with you as you need. You can categorize and organize those however you see fit, right? So if you want to do this by a certain category, what have you, you can certainly do so. But we can bulk upload yours. You can add them as you go. Really simple and easy to add in your own Toolbox Talks and topics as you go. So certainly a lot of options there to make it a little bit more relative for your folks, or just simply use what we have as a good base to work off of as well too. So we cover a number of different trades, construction as a whole. We're not working in a lot of different areas. So it's a good way for you guys to utilize some of the selections that we've already grabbed here as well. So as I mentioned, that's probably the last question that I'll have time to get to. I would be happy to help any of you guys if you're interested in having a conversation after this. Maybe it's a personalized demo. Maybe it is just a conversation on some of the headaches you guys are having from a Toolbox Talk perspective as a whole. But again, my name is Eric over here at SafetyHQ. My email is up there, but edv@foundationsoft.com. There's also probably going to be a follow-up email with this as well. But any questions that you have additionally, or for those folks that I didn't get a chance to get to your questions to, certainly don't be a stranger and reach on out, and we'll get you what we can to hopefully help you improve your health and safety practices, more specifically Toolbox Talks. But thanks, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. I'm happy to connect with any of you guys at a future date. So thanks, and have a wonderful day.